Welcome to the Boomer Technician. This week we're still home. I'm doing some maintenance on the Mustang 2, and it's led me to make this very specific technical bulletin for Mustang 2 owners. We're going to show you how to remove the front fascia of the gauge cluster in the Mustang dashboard. And there's several videos out there showing you how to do this, but this is an alternate method that I can show you that's better if you're either one, not as flexible as you used to be, or two, a relatively large person, both of which apply to me. So rather than snaking my hand all the way up into the dash from the back, we're going to show you a method here where you can pop a component out of the way and get in there to pull all the pieces off and get this dash fascia off without any real trouble at all. So when we're talking about pulling this component off, there are 7 screws that hold it in place. There's 3 across the top, and they go straight up into the dash pad. And then there's 2 on either side of the instrument column, and those go in at a slight angle. So there's 4 that go in at a slight angle and 3 that go straight up. And then you should be able to pop the panel right off, but unfortunately the headlight switch, and if it's an older Mustang too, the wiper washer switch are both in the way. So we're going to show you how to get those knobs out without losing your mind. But before we go out to the car, let's go ahead and take a look at the wiper knob here in the shop. So if you take a 90-degree pick, you can then push up on this metal tab on the inside, and the knob comes right up and off. And then to put it back on, you don't even need a tool. You just line it back up and push it in. So keep in mind, I'm pushing on the inside of the tab, not the outside of it. And you might have better success working it the other way, but this tends to keep the knob in better alignment, and it comes up and off easier. Removing the headlight switch is a bit more complicated. There's this trim nut that screws into the headlight switch, which is mounted in the dash, and it sandwiches the gauge panel underneath that nut. And the problem is, to get the nut off, you've got to be able to remove this knob, and the knob's a little difficult to get out. Ford put a push button on the switch. This is a switch that was used all through the 70s and into the 80s and even the early 90s. And if you push this button, the knob pops right out, and you can unscrew this nut. But it's awfully difficult to get to this push button on the Mustang 2. It's way up in the dash, and some people seem to be able to snake their hand up there and push it. But I don't have that ability. So we'll go to the car and I'll show you how I get to this push button. So we've shown you how to take both these knobs off in the shop. So let's go ahead and try it on the car. Starting with a wiper knob. Just like diagrammed. Now, as I said, some YouTubers recommend reaching up behind the dash to push the button to release the headlight switch, but you can see it's quite a ways up in there. So what we're going to do is remove the air conditioning panel, or the heater panel, and there's 2 screws here and a hex head screw coming straight down from the bottom. So we'll go ahead and take those out, and then I'll show you where we go from there. Well, in some cars this lower screw is a 1/4 inch hex, but it turns out on this one it is also a Phillips, and I managed to block most of this work with my body. But we're basically taking 3 screws out of the heater panel, and when we're done, the heater panel is ready to move. All right, now before I unbolt that panel from the car, I wanted to kind of let you see what we're dealing with. I've got a heat only panel here, but they're all pretty much built the same on the back side. They're going to have either 1 or 2 control cables attached to them, and they're going to have a bunch of electrical connections. If we had the air conditioning on the car, it would have this vacuum switch along with a bunch of vacuum hoses, but we're not going to be removing it from the car. Removing it from the car can be a little difficult. It's hard to get in and unscrew all these pieces that you need to disconnect or to get the vacuum lines off and that kind of thing. But all we're doing when we unscrew it on the car to remove the gauge panel, we're going to push it in a couple of inches, and then all those components actually help hold it in place. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to give you any trouble, and it's just going to hang there in the car with everything connected on the back side. All right, a little challenging to undo those screws with the camera in the way, but we've got it done, and the panel's just floating here. You can see you can easily move it around, and it's not going to fall out because it's held in by all the connections on the backside. But it's very easy to get your finger on the button. It is right there, and the knob comes right out, and then this nut unscrews, and the panel pops off. Well, I hope that was clear for everybody. That push button is really hard to get to release that headlight knob unless you unbolt that heater panel and push it in. It's a little tricky to realign it and get it back in place, but the heater panel itself is not very hard to get to from underneath the dash. So reassembly is the reverse of disassembly, as they say in the manuals. And as I often say, no matter where you go, there you are.